from a macro perspective, zoomed out, cycles of Bitcoin and crypto, what's happening right now in this Bitcoin weekly chart is so crucial. What's happening right here, and actually in this video, what I want to do is I want to kind of try and zoom in on this weekly candle on the daily chart and talk about the very short-term price action of Bitcoin, the very short-term resistance that Bitcoin is heading into right now. It's actually there. And I think I want to be as objective as possible in this video, but I think it's a really good time to dissect the challenges that Bitcoin has on the short term. That's what I want to do in this video. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the video. We'll look for bullish indicators. You know, these things that happen that are like, all right, that happened, right? That's a confirmation. But before I do that, there's some data that plays into the current short-term resistance. We've been tracking a lot of the short-term holder cost basis very, very much through On-Chain College on X, post a lot about it. Bitcoin, this was on August 23rd. Bitcoin just $2,000 away from the short-term holder cost basis, now at 63.6. If you've been following me for a while, you understand how important this is as a momentum indicator. And we're going to look at this chart from a little bit different perspective in just a second, but he just posted a couple of days ago, Bitcoin below the short-term holder cost basis is short-term bearish. So we want to see Bitcoin above this indicator, okay? And then he says, this is the rule, I didn't make it. And this is it. This is just data. This what I'm talking about in this video is not opinions. We now wait for a reclaim of $63,000. So this was 2 days ago. If we go actually look at this chart, let me kind of try and zoom in a little bit. You can just see, there it is. The short-term holder realized price, $63,368. This was as of yesterday, but right around that general area, 63, a little over 63,000. I put it in yellow right here if we're zoomed in now on the Bitcoin chart. And this is a daily chart, by the way. We're going to end the video on the weekly. There's just a couple things I wanted to discuss, but here it is. Big resistance, right? Yes. But here's the thing. Besides that area, Bitcoin getting back above that area as a bullish confirmation area that we're waiting for, and it's been struggling to do so, we have a bunch of different short-term resistance areas. What's good is we're currently on the daily candle just above the 20-day moving average, but there's still almost 8 hours left on this current daily candle. So very short term, how does Bitcoin close at the 20-day? Then we have the 50-day moving average, $62,000 right here. Then we have the 200-day, 63.5, right? That is right in line, very confluent with the short-term holder cost basis. Then, it doesn't end, everybody. The resistance does not end. Then we take our short-term Fibonacci, the swing high that Bitcoin had, just above all those moving averages, and we just gave up all those gains to the swing low. It's that green retracement area. So Bitcoin could very well retrace, get a nice little move to the upside. It's nice to see the post Bitcoin back above $60,000 like happening right now, and Bitcoin could just be bouncing to the Fibonacci. This is a lower high resistance area. Lower high meaning from this swing high, this lower high. So Bitcoin could make a move to the area, to the short-term holder cost basis area, and then continue to the downside. We have to be very careful. And I just want to interject something right here. The algorithms on X, they're bombarding me right now. Bombarding me with recession posts, recession data, recession charts. I don't know if it's going to just continue. It probably is going to increase because there's actually a lot of indicators. There are a lot of different charts that are like, man, recession coming, market's going to crash. I wanted to real quick interject. We do have to be careful. I want to go over this data, a very just conservative, careful video discussing the possibility of this. I wanted to know if you would be interested in me doing a video on that. But the reason I'm bringing that up in this Bitcoin video is because when we start looking at the weekly chart, here's the thing. And this is strictly data that I'm watching. And there's so many bullish indicators that I've just been going over every day, right? It's nonstop. The amount of bullish indicators for Bitcoin and crypto right now. But when we zoom out on this chart, the key area on this weekly, and then we're going to look at momentum, is this 20-week moving average. In bull market highs, and I can't get this out of my mind. In bull market highs, when Bitcoin falls out of all-time high into the bear market, it just struggles at that area, the 20-week, right? And it just lower highs at the 20-week, resistance, failing to get above. That is what Bitcoin does when it's entering bear markets. You can see even 2 cycles ago, resistance at the 20-week, lower highs at the 20-week, falling at the 20-week. I'm not saying that's what's occurring here. But what I am saying is now that we've consolidated for 6 months or so, and Bitcoin is just look at Bitcoin price, just wrapping around the 20-week moving average. It's getting kind of crazy to watch this because we're waiting for this parabolic bull cycle. Here's where altcoin season starts historically. This purple line is getting very close. Bitcoin dominance starts falling. We're getting very close. This is a weekly chart. We still have a little time, right? This is November, but we really just need to see Bitcoin start closing weekly candles above the 20-week moving average as opposed to just failing to get above, right? And then if this is resistance and then falling back down, I'm not saying that's game over, but this is a very key indicator for bull markets too. We just talked about how it is a key indicator for bear markets. It's a key indicator for bull markets too, because Bitcoin likes to see support, higher highs, higher lows above that area, right? Look how many supports it has in a bull market. You can go back 2 cycles ago and just look at it. Higher highs and higher lows above the 20-week moving average. We need to be in that environment. Right now, post-halving, we're below the 20-week moving average currently. And that's something to pay attention to. You look at last cycle around this time, Bitcoin wasn't below the 20-week moving average. You look at 2 cycles ago at this time, Bitcoin wasn't below the 20-week moving average. So I just want to point that out. I'm not saying this is a macro bear market signal, but this is a very key, I know it's a weekly zoomed out, a key short-term thing, maybe midterm thing that we have to keep an eye on between now and November on this chart. The other thing on the weekly chart I wanted to point out was if we look at this from a momentum perspective, Bitcoin is in a really, really solid area. And that's really due to the fact that Bitcoin has been consolidating for so long. It's been just sideways for so long, allowing the 20-week to cool, the 50 to draw into it. But what I noticed was on the momentum oscillator for Bitcoin, Bitcoin, this RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator, right around 51, when Bitcoin took off into the bull cycle, right, last cycle, and you can see there's the purple line last cycle. And at that point, when Bitcoin was at that purple line, Bitcoin was overbought at that moment. But when Bitcoin really took off last cycle, Bitcoin was around 54 on this RSI. And then if you go back 2 cycles ago, Bitcoin consistently around 53, close to 54 before taking off each time, right? Each high or low put in kind of this little bit of a consolidation in the RSI, and then boom. So we're, from a momentum perspective, right where it needs to be, Bitcoin. But the move that we need is up now. And this momentum oscillator illustrates that. The stock RSI, this is the MACD, but also has cooled down, which is good. We've come from all the way up here. The momentum has fallen. We've gotten a nice histogram here, potentially just resetting for the next leg up. And then the stock RSI, quicker moving momentum oscillator, I think I talked about recently, is just very much hanging out in oversold territory. It's been consolidating for quite some time. It is ready for upside. So Bitcoin on the macro is looking good. But again, it's this weekly candle, and it's everything happening within the weekly candle. We need to see Bitcoin above that 20-week. It starts here, and it starts here at short-term resistance. If we see resistance, this is always in play. I say this time and time again. We're in a pattern. We have to anticipate it. We could be in the lower 50s very fast. It could happen very fast. And so, it's a matter of being prepared. It's not a matter of knowing what's going to happen. None of us do. None of us know what's going to happen, but we can watch for certain things. And on the short term, we're looking for bullish confirmations to break this entire range. And really, currently, it's like 60,300 or so up to around 63,700. That's the range. It's not even a big range for Bitcoin to make the move, but that's what we're watching for. So those are my thoughts today as we continue to watch crypto and Bitcoin and the markets just confuse everybody. Hit the subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Your support really does mean a ton to me. I hope you have a good day. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.